Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you to the beautiful Sunday feast at Long Island Temple. I'm fortunate enough to be coming again this year. This is and
first time here in
2026.
26.
Yes. So I'm very fortunate to be among all of you and trying to serve you, all of you. So I pray at all of your lotus feet that you all bless me. I'll be able to speak something fruitful, glorifying the Supreme Lord, purifying my heart, and trying to do this service at your lotus feet. Hare Krishna. Especially take blessings from Chandrasekhar Maharaj and Prabhu. So the topic I had chosen today is a very interesting topic. Everyone goes through this thing, converting misfortune into good fortune. Who hasn't, when we live in this material world, there is always a time when there will be test, there will be a turbulence in the life, there will be some suffering, there will be something happening. And because of that thing, we feel a lot of misfortune in our lives. So what is misfortune? What is misfortune? Durbhaiga. Yeah, okay. Everyone has felt, right? Is it there anyone here who haven't felt that he is misfortunate? What are the ways a person feels that he is misfortunate? What are the ways? How does a person feels misfortunate?
Just missing Krishna consciousness.
Okay, missing Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol. This is the best answer I have got. Hari Bol. Yes.
Realistic things.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. In reality, how do you feel that you are misfortune?
Sad.
You're sad. Okay. But why? Like, we lose something. That's we have no money. No money. A sannyasi is speaking about no money. Yeah, money to run the temple. Yeah, we feel misfortune because of losing, losing of money, or we don't have money. We don't have, when we lose, when we face an accident, we feel that it's a misfortunate situation. Or when we, lose someone in our life, or someone in our family, someone of our friends, well-wishers, if they meet with an accident or if we lose them, that's a misfortunate situation. Or if one loses his relationship, he's going to relationship crisis, that is a misfortunate situation. If a student, works very hard and writes the exam very nicely, but he doesn't get the result what he's expecting, that's a misfortunate situation for the student. Is it not? And it happens more or less. The material world is designed in such a way that there will be situations where we will feel the pain of this material world. That's why this material world is dukkhalayam shashvatam. There will be always be suffering. So there will be always be misfortune actually. So how does a person look forward that he is able to convert this misfortune into good fortune? I remember a story, very beautiful story, which I read across long back. There was a farmer, and he was having a very beautiful farm, and he was living in the outskirts of the village, and he was very nicely doing his farming, earning his livelihood. Very gentle farmer, and he was living a moral life. And one day, he happened to keep the door of his farm open by mistake, and he slept off. And next day morning he saw that there was a very beautiful white horse in his lawn. And then he was so surprised, so happy that where did this come from? So he went, he tried to pet the horse very nicely and take care of this horse, as the horse had come and he was not leaving. So he felt okay, he's feeling little obliged that he should take care of the horse. And he felt very happy to take care of the horse. He made a very nice stable place for him, started feeding him grass and other stuff like that. And in the evening, one of his friends comes to his home and he sees, oh wow, you got a horse now. And this friend asked, how did you get a horse? And this farmer told, I just kept my door open and it has just come. So he told, you are a great fortunate, you have a great fortune that you got a horse. And this farmer, he was a very simple farmer. He did not know fortune or misfortune. I don't know. He just accepted it as a blessing of the Lord, and he just kept kept the horse very nicely. And couple of days, it was there, and he was feeling very nice that a horse has come. And after few days, again he left. The door open by mistake, and the horse left in the night. And next day morning, he saw that the horse is not there. He was not so attached. Told him, okay, whatever Lord wants, fortune or misfortune, I am happy. And the friend came, oh, Bole, you lost a horse. You had such a beautiful horse and you lost it. Bole, this is such a misfortunate situation. You lost a horse. How can you lose a horse? Bole, it's okay. It's fortunate or not fortunate, it's okay. I'm okay. So after few days, couple of days, now the farmer felt, that he should keep the door open since the horse wants to come back. So he kept the door open, and not one, but 3 horses came back. So he brought his family and friends, because he was getting nice food and nice stable place. So he felt very happy, and he was taking care of all the horses. So his friend again came in the evening. He told, hey, it's a fortunate situation now. You got a horse now, not 1, 3 horses. So he was very happy. The friend was more happy. And this farmer was not disturbed. Okay, fortunate or misfortunate, I don't know, whatever Lord is arranging. So this way it went like this. And so he wanted to train the horses. So he started training the horses more and more very nicely. And then what happened? He had a son. So he wanted the son also should be able to take care of the horses. So when the son started training the horses, he was not so familiar with the situation. And while trying to train the horse kicked him down. And kicked his leg, and his leg got fractured. Literally fractured, he almost lost his leg, but by Lord's mercy it saved. And when this news came to his friend, he came back in the evening and he told, hey, now this is a very unfortunate situation. Again, see, you got 3 horses, but this is a unfortunate situation that your son has to go to terrible pain. And he was telling fortunate or not fortunate, it doesn't matter. And then eventually what had happened, within couple of days, there was an attack in the country. And the minister, he started recruiting all the young men for joining the army. And so he came to this village and he recruited every young man. And he saw all of them, and he came and saw the old man's son also. But he felt, what will this person do? His leg is fractured, he cannot just even walk also. What he will fight in the army? So this person, this friend whose son had been taken to the army, he felt very bad. But then he came to his friend and he told, see, you are fortunate that your son is still there with you, but I am misfortunate. So the thing is, he told, the person was not disturbed, and he told very nicely, fortune or misfortune, I don't mind, whatever Lord sends, that is His mercy. So the story, the beautiful lesson what we can learn is, the situation or the thing will always not be, the same situation, same person or same thing may be the cause of our fortune or misfortune. So it doesn't matter, but it matters how we respond or how we utilize or how we adapt the situation. That is very important. If we don't take the situation to be very fruitful, then it becomes a misfortune situation. So we have seen that, many people have gone through different situations, and, so what is real fortune? Real fortune is when one is able to remember Krishna always. That is real fortune. For a devotee, if he is able to remember Krishna always, always remembering Krishna and always trying to remember Krishna in a very beautiful way, that is real fortune. To be in the association of devotees who help us to increase our consciousness, uplift our consciousness, that is real fortune. Or anything or any situation which is making us come closer to Krishna, that is real fortune. So if we don't understand this thing, then it's very, very difficult that, what is fortunate or what is not fortunate. Sometimes the fortunate situations may turn up into misfortunate situations. So we'll see some examples from Srimad Bhagavatam, how there were different situations in the life of devotees, where a very misfortunate situation turned into a very fortunate situation, or they were converting the misfortune into good fortune. So one example comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, that is of Duryodhan and Vidur. Duryodhan felt very much insulted that when Vidur was giving an advice to his father Dhritarashtra that please give back the kingdom back to Pandavas, at least give them something to rule. And hearing his advice, Duryodhan was feeling, is he the uncle of he's my uncle, or is he the uncle of Pandavas? And he's favoring more Pandavas than the Kauravas. And he started feeling so much envious towards his uncle that he started insulting him.
Everyone can move over a little bit to the
Yeah,
back
this
there.
is-
So
that's what I told you. Yeah.
come closer, please.
Yes, please come closer.
Keep door open, the people can come.
So now it's a very fortunate situation that you all can come closer and have association of each other. Right? When it's a very beautiful thing. When we go to Chopati temple, how many of you have been to Chopati temple? Any time? No? Okay, not many. So I'll tell you the situation. We have a big hall there, very big hall. But then the devotees who come for attending the talk on Sunday are around 2,000 devotees who come. So not everyone can come and sit in the hall. So whoever comes first, they get the seat first, and they want to sit right next to where Radhanath Maharaj is giving a talk, or Indradutt Maharaj is giving a talk, or Giriraj Maharaj is giving a talk. So they all come together very closely, and then they associate with each other very closely. So that becomes into a misfortunate situation that they have to sit little tightly, but the fortunate situation is you got to hear from great exalted devotees. So please come closer and give space for everyone. Hare Krishna. So coming to Vidura, Vidura was insulted like anything by Duryodhan. And Duryodhan was telling such insulted words that you are like a you are like a dog, that you are eating in the same, you are making your place where you are eating, you are not royal to your master. And hearing such insulted words, Vidur felt really very bad, and he felt this is not the right place where I should be. He was a minister to Dhritarashtra, but he felt this is not the right place. And he immediately decided that I should quit this kingdom. I should quit this position and I should go. And what was he thinking? That he should go and change the situation. And what did he do? He went and he spoke and he heard the glories of Krishna from Maitreya Rishi. Leaving the kingdom of and leaving the situation where he was there. He was as a minister always hearing the politics, how to harm the Pandavas, and making situations where they can harm the Pandavas. He felt this is so tiring, and I just want to leave this situation and go and hear the glories of Krishna. And he went and heard the glories of Krishna from Maitreya Rishi. So who was Vidur?
Vidur was the brothers of Dhritarashtra.
Okay, brothers of Dhritarashtra. But then what?
Pandava.
Yes, Pandava also. So so the thing is, in his previous life, Vidur was, Vidur is in one way is Yamraj, but then he got curse from whom? Mandake, what is his name? The Muni. No, not Durvasa. It starts with Mandake Rishi, right?
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the Muni who got curse. And how did he got? Mandavya Muni, yes, Mandavya Muni. And how did he got curse? One time this Muni was living in his ashram, and there were some thieves who were like running around, and they entered his ashram, and the minister actually caught not just the thieves but the Muni also, and they brought him for punishing, and it was like a very severe punishment, that he was about to be killed, and he was just about to be about to die, and they were trying to pierce his eyes with a sword, and right at the moment the king realized that there was not a fault of this Muni, and immediately he stopped this suffering, the punishment, and this Muni was like left, and then he felt very bad. What did I do in this life that I am getting the reaction of this thing? And immediately, he went to Yamraj, and he asked, what did I do? What mistake did I do? He had such power that he could go to Yamraj and speak. And he spoke, he was speaking to Yamraj, and Yamraj spoke that when you were a small child, you happened to take an ant, and you were trying to pierce the eye of the ant. So because of that thing, you got this punishment, that you were about to be pierced by the sword, sharp sword. And immediately this Muni felt very inappropriate, that the punishment what you are giving is not right. This is an inappropriate punishment. So I curse you that you become a Shudra. And immediately Yamraj fell from his position and he became Vidur. Earlier he was always glorifying the Supreme Lord, but now he has come to a position where he was always, in the discussing the politics of the Kaurava dynasty. And how was the politics? They were trying to burn, Pandavas. They were trying to kill all the Pandavas' brothers, trying to, send them to forest, do so many mischievous things just to punish the Pandavas. And because of that thing, he felt that, Vidur felt that this situation is not proper. So he changed this situation of being in an inappropriate place to a appropriate place, that going and hearing the glories of Krishna. So a devotee always sees and takes an opportunity where he can find a place where he can hear the glories of Krishna. So he changes his situation. Second example comes is of Dhruva. Dhruva also was in a very misfortunate situation, is it not? He was insulted by Suruchi, and then immediately he went to Suniti, and then he was embraced by Suniti, and he told that I cannot give you justice. Only Lord Vishnu can fulfill your desire and can give you justice. So please go to him. See, a very misfortunate situation for Dhruva turned him into a very good fortunate situation. Why? Just because of hearing the association of Narad Muni and his mother. Both of them gave the right advice. So if any situation which comes in the lives of a devotee, or lives of any situation comes, what is the one thing we can always do is to turn towards devotees. Then only we can make the misfortunate situation into fortunate situation. So association of devotees means when we are in troublesome time, we always turn towards the devotee and we take advice from them. We take their input, not the input from the mind, not the input from our so-called friends or relatives who makes us do any wrong thing, but we turn towards the devotees. And when we turn towards the devotees, they give the right advice. And just see what Dhruva Maharaj achieved. Dhruva Maharaj achieved, the darshan of the Lord within 6 months. What a great fortune. From, throwing away from the lap of his father, he got to take darshan of the Lord Vishnu within 6 months. So that was the great fortune of Dhruva Maharaj. So now this is very wonderful story. Anyone can guess what is this pastime? Not Maharaj, you should not tell. I know you will, those who know this thing should not tell this thing, but those who don't know, I want them to think about, do you prefer a good son or a bad son? This comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. I want all of you to guess. Anyone knows about this thing? Anyone? Any guesses? No, not Chitraketu Maharaj. Okay, we got at least one guess. Any guess? This is a very beautiful story. It comes in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Any guess?
Vena.
Yes, that's Vena. Vena and Prithu Maharaj. So, this story is a very beautiful story which comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes about Anga Maharaj. Anga Maharaj, he had a son called Vena. And Vena was like such a cruel son that when he was small, he used to play with his friends. And while playing with his friends, normally, Sometimes, while playing, the small children break the toys. But this child was so cruel that he used to kill his friends. He used to break the necks or, cut off their arms. So he was very, very cruel. Can you imagine having a son like that? He was trying. Vena was trying a lot to, reform his son, trying to give him right education. But because his upbringing was very wrong, not just upbringing, his previous samskaras were very wrong, he could not have the right fortune. So here Anga was thinking, if I have a putra, a son's duty that he should liberate the father, but he is, making me bonded like anything. So he was thinking whether to have a good son or a bad son. And, he felt that he was discussing in his mind, what should I do? And then he was thinking that, I have a bad son. Let me turn this situation into a good situation. And what did he do? He just left the kingdom and went. And he made King Vena the king. He just left the kingdom and left and went to do self-realization, to achieve the Supreme Lord. So he was thinking that if I had a good son, what will I do? I'll become attached to a good son. Right? If we have a good son, the parents generally tend to become very attached. But he was considering, well, if I had a good son, then I will be very much attached to my son. But now the Lord has made a situation in which I am trying my level best to make the son into a good son, but he is becoming into more and more cruel. So he felt that I should leave him to the hands of the Lord, and then he left the kingdom and he went. There's a small story which I read in the newspaper. There were two sons of a person, and this person was very rich, stinkingly rich. He had like anything you take, he had that thing. He had big house, he had big farm, cars were there, so many servants were there. But because he was so rich, he had so much influence that he always used to be drunk. Every night he was just drunk. And he was like, though he was taking care of his business and everything, he grew very nicely, but because of the bad association he had, he was always drinking. And he had two sons. Both the sons were like, the second son, he also became same like his father. He saw his father and he started drinking. And he was also drinking and drinking a lot. And the first son, he completed his education. He became like a great lawyer. And he took care of the business, he took care of the family and everything like that. So once the reporter was asking, what is the difference between both of you? I see your father, he's not always, because of his health issues, he's not a proper person. And I see your brother that, he's not proper son. He's having very bad habits. And you became a very gentleman. The situation is same, but the persons are transformed into two things. So in the interview, this son was telling, very beautiful sentence, very beautiful he told. Yes, the first son, he imitated his father and copied and, spoiled himself, by taking the wrong influence and wrong habits from him. But the first son was telling, I learned everything what I should not do from my father. Not to become a person of, becoming addicted to wine, becoming addicted to, pride because of this thing. So he was telling, I learned what a person should not do when he is influenced by all this situation. So the same situation, but the influence is different because the consciousness is different. You are learning different things. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also tells very beautifully about this thing. If someone tries to find a fault in you, or if someone is trying fault to you, or who is finding a fault, he is one of your good friends. Why? Why he's like a good friend? Why?
Because he is showing his
Correction to
pointing his fault, then he can rectify himself.
Yes. By seeing you may not see your own fault, but if someone is helping you to find the fault, then what happens? You can rectify it very easily. Whereas, you cannot rectify, if no one tells that, there is no fault in you, then no one will rectify it.
Find out.
Yes. So, they help us to purify our hearts. These personalities who are there around us, they help us to purify our hearts. I remember the story of Ramanujacharya also. one person was criticizing Ramanujacharya, and he was always, he was so famous, Ramanujacharya, that he had, 1100 sannyasi disciples, and he had 2000 grahasthas who were always there living in in Srirangam. And this one person, he always criticized Ramanujacharya. Anything he did, he was always trying to find a fault in this thing. And all his disciples were becoming so envious of this person. Well, why Guru Maharaj is allowing this person to be very close to him? And he always criticized. Just imagine, if some person is criticizing a great personality, how will you feel? You feel that I should just take him and bash him around, right? But then Ramanujacharya told, no, he is my well-wisher. He is my well-wisher because he is always there for me to not fall down. He is always there to protect me. So he is my well-wisher. He is warning. He is warning always. So just imagine, we may see that there is a fault, but then we may always see that, it's something which is very wonderful. The vision of a pure devotee is always different than a common people. We may feel very much agitated if someone tells, oh Prabhu, even if someone tells, hey, you are wearing a wrong, torn kurta, or, something like that also we feel like agitated, we feel little ashamed or something like that. What if someone tries to find a fault? If someone tries to see that, there is something wrong and they start spreading rumors or anything like that, you feel very much disturbed, right? Is it not? It's very easy, very common, and it happens. It happens with everyone. It just doesn't happen in homes. It happens, in temples and sometimes in ashram also. Brahmachari ashram also we have to face the problem. Sometimes the monks also face the problem. Even if you do a small mistake, immediately you are pointed, Prabhu, you have not done something wrong. And immediately we are like, oh my God, Krishna, there is some purification which is happening. We become little late for our morning program sometimes, we just wait for, seeing the look on the president's head, He just looks at Hare Krishna, Prabhu. And that Hare Krishna only makes us feel, oh my God, why did I become late for 5 minutes? Yeah, many find excuse, but I'm telling you, so, yeah, they never admit it. That's the thing, If a person, a Krishna conscious person, he takes this situation that anyone is finding fault into a situation of making correction in himself, that is like such a wonderful thing. We always tell, you did this thing. We always point finger to others, so many fingers. But they don't see that 3 fingers are pointing towards themselves. They always miss this thing. That 3 fingers are pointing towards them and 1 finger you are pointing towards others.
I never do anything wrong.
Yeah, never.
Somebody else.
Yes, we never do. We do mistakes. So, yeah, that's the mistake. If a person is humble enough, then he will definitely actually admit it. But if a person is not humble, then what he will do is, he will never admit it. And because of that thing, he will make the situation which is like fortunate situation into a misfortunate situation. So it's very important that, we always have the right consciousness. One more thing I heard, why one should be envious of a washerman who is staying next to our door, and get disturbed because of the banging of the clothes when he's washing your clothes for free and removing the dirt. So a person, if he's washing your clothes, like if he's removing the unwanted impurities from your heart, then why should you be disturbed? Though there is some disturbance because of the banging of the clothes, or by washing of the clothes, one shouldn't be disturbed. So one should make his situation into a very fortunate situation. And how did this happen? There is Vena's story. From Vena, the Brahmanas became very much astonished the way he was ruling the kingdom. And so they cursed him, and Vena died. On the spot he was killed because of the hunkar of the Brahmanas. This king, he is just bringing misfortune. And immediately the king died on the spot. But then what did the Brahmanas do? This became like a more unfortunate situation. Why? Because now the thieves became more powerful. There was no ruler in the kingdom, and all the thieves were, just trying to loot everyone. And it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that there was smoke everywhere. That means there were horses which were running, and people were getting looted everywhere. And that became like a very misfortunate situation. But then, how did that turn into a fortunate situation? The Brahmanas knew, if we churn the body of Vena, what will happen is, there is something which will specially come. So the mother of Vena, she preserved the body of the king in the oil. And eventually the Brahmanas came to know. So they started churning the body. And from the body came Prithu Maharaj. He was such a wonderful king that he ruled the kingdom. And his glorification comes, the way he was ruling the kingdom, that Mother Earth came and offered all the elements, for pleasing the king, for every, for satisfying the king. So a misfortunate situation where there was such a turbulence in the kingdom turned into a fortunate situation, that the Mother Earth was coming and offering everything. Different demigods, they came and offered such great gifts to Prithu Maharaj because of his personality. And how did that happen? From an unfortunate situation to, or a misfortunate situation to, a good fortune situation. So all this happens because of the association of devotees, or else it's not possible. So there is this story of, again, the prince of Prashadhar. He also, this comes in the 9th chapter, where this prince was always trying to protect the cows. He was a lover of the cows, and he always wanted to protect them. So one time when he was protecting the cows in the stable, in the cow shed, he was nicely protecting, and a tiger actually came to harm the cows. And in the dead of the tiger, in the dead of the night, when there was dark everywhere, all the cows, actually fearing the tiger, they started running everywhere. And the tiger entered the Goshala, and then all the cows, they started running hither and thither. So he wanted to protect that none of the cows should be killed by the tiger. So immediately what did he do? He started running after the tiger. But just to scare the tiger, or just to kill the tiger, he threw the sword because he was not in reach. And the tiger saw that the sword is coming, running towards him. He just moved a little faster. And a cow which was just behind the tiger got killed in that accident when he threw the sword. And after throwing the sword, in the night he did not realize that this was done. But in the morning, when all the Brahmanas saw, in the morning when the light came, they saw that this situation, that this prince whom we assigned the service of protecting the cows, he killed the cow. And this became like a very unfortunate situation, that it was like a very unfortunate situation for the prince. So the Brahmanas, actually, they cursed him that you should become a Shudra in your next life. And this king became very much disturbed, that what I should do. I was trying to do my duty, and here is a chance where I could have perfected my life by saving the cow. But then he got the advice from the Brahmanas, and what did he do? He just practiced brahmacharya, and then he practiced pure devotional service. He went to a holy place, practiced pure devotional service, and he perfected his life. And in that life, he went back to spiritual world, not getting the next birth to become the Shudra. So he turned the misfortunate situation of going to a Shudra life to a very fortunate situation. So, Maharaj, what time I should take?
Well, you can start asking for questions, or if you have.
Okay, I just have like couple of more slides. I'll just share them. And so here is Srila Prabhupada. This is about the story of the king, and then this is the story of Srila Prabhupada, how he has turned his misfortunate situation into fortunate. We cannot tell misfortunate, but the defeat what he has received while trying to fulfill the vows of his spiritual master, to do things to spread Krishna consciousness. While when he was in United States, after struggling for getting 2 heart attacks, and he came through Jalduta. He landed here in New York, and then he went to Boston, Boston Harbor, and then he went to Pennsylvania, and then he was back here, trying to spread Krishna consciousness. But then, what was the thing, when he was trying to establish this movement, he was getting defeat after defeat. We'll go through this very faster. First time he wanted to establish a temple, and he wrote a letter to Lal Bahadur Shastri. And while he was writing, he was expecting him to reply in a positive way, to sanction some funds, and and then the Prime Minister, he could have sanctioned anything, he could have done anything. And Srila Prabhupada met Lal Bahadur Shastri earlier, and Lal Bahadur Shastri was very impressed by the work what Srila Prabhupada was doing, translating Srimad Bhagavatam into English language. And just when he visited Russia, and this Lal Bahadur Shastri passed away. He got an heart attack, or we don't know the reason, but he died when he was in Russia. And then second time he wanted to have a building, and he spoke to this landlord Hartman, and the building was lying at this Manhattan, but still he wasn't ready to give it to Srila Prabhupada, and he was paying the rent, he was paying the taxes for the building. And Srila Prabhupada was trying to convince him that, please, if you give us the building, you will get tax free. And whatever taxes, we have to pay for maintenance, we will give it to you. You just give the building to us, and we will be ready to take up the building and do some spiritual activities. And he was like a heartless person. He never wanted to give the building to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to Padmanath Singhania, and he wanted to construct a temple here. And then he wanted to bring a very beautiful temple. He had a desire that there should be a Radha Krishna temple. But then he wanted in a very artistic way a temple and in a different way. Prabhupada was trying to convince that please, you give, you just pass on the funds. He wanted to give 7 lakhs during that time, and that was a big amount. But then he could not pass on. He was thinking that he wanted a Indian architecture temple. No, he wanted to convert a building, but he never sanctioned that fund. And he wrote a letter to his god brother Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, and there was no response from him. This was one of the defeat again. And then he wrote to the universal book House of Bombay, telling that I have a lot of Srimad Bhagavatam sets with you. Please try to spread it all over India. Do this thing. And they were telling, unless a person comes and does this thing, we are not interested in doing this thing. So he got defeat after defeat. And then he was trying to convince Indira Gandhi that please sanction the money which Padmanabh Singhania was trying to give. At least if you just sanction it, we will be able to we can transfer it and do a right construction. And there was no response, no favorable response from Indira Gandhi. And Prabhupada had written it to Sumiti Mirarji also, that please, if you send, if you just send few devotees, those who are interested, please give them the ticket, and please give them a passage ticket, and send some articles or some funds. It will be very helpful. I want to construct a temple of your Bal Gopal. He was mentioning Srila Prabhupada in the letter, but there was no response from Sumiti Mirarji. And then there was one brahmachari who became little bit interested, wanting to assist Srila Prabhupada. This is Mukti Brahmachari. And then he wrote to Srila Prabhupada directly. And then Srila Prabhupada told that, please take permission from your spiritual master first. And he told, no, I want to come there and then, take permission from my spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada told, no, that is not like the proper way, etiquette. So they were defeat after defeat what Srila Prabhupada was going. But then he had so much dependency on on the mercy of Krishna. He was like so much determined to please his spiritual master that he changed all these misfortunate situations into fortunate situations. He tolerated everything. He tolerated all the turbulences for this thing, for spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. And then he happened to please Krishna and spread this message. So,
this is the English word.
Yeah.
Failure is the pillar of success.
Yes, failure is the pillar of success. So the most successful Indian in American is Srila Prabhupada. There was an article in 2020, the most successful Indian. He just entered United States with 40 rupees at one time, and he was doing when they calculated, he was doing business it was like a turnover of more than 40 crore rupees at that time. That was in 1970s. So he was like the most successful Indian at an old age, at the age of 65, 69 in that one way. So there is 3-point formula to always change our misfortune into fortunate situation. One is tolerate reversal externally. Whenever there is externally there is some turbulences, we tolerate them, and we remain cheerful internally. How do we remain cheerful internally? Is by making our consciousness purified, by connecting it to Krishna in that situation also. And the most important thing is staying fixed in our Krishna conscious duties. We don't give up our Krishna conscious duties even if there is some turbulences coming in our life. Turbulences, miseries, they will definitely come. Not a single person is there who will not face it. But we don't leave our Krishna conscious duties. What are our Krishna conscious duties? Always remembering Krishna. Never. Yes. So how do we remember Krishna? By chanting his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we always want to remember Krishna. And for remembering Krishna, we never leave the process of chanting. We never leave the process of hearing. So this is very important. Even in such situations, we never leave these things. And the most important thing is, when we are in these situations, we always take shelter of devotees. Without the shelter of devotees, without the association of devotees, it's not possible that we can come out of any turbulent situations in our lives. So we'll repeat these 3 formulas, and then we will discuss about any questions or comments. So first one is tolerate reversals externally. Please repeat. Tolerate reversals externally. Remain cheerful internally. And stay fixed in Krishna consciousness. Yes, Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or comments or any realizations, anything, please, we can feel.
Mostly you ask a lot of questions and we answer. I think we did enough today.
Anyone else has any questions, any comments? Yeah, she has a question.
2020 article?
Yeah?
Get there.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, she wanted to see this.
No, you just
2020.
people can hear.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, she wanted to
Oh,
see.
oh.
She wanted to see this article.
Oh.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone wants to have any discussion?
So we don't know whether we have good fortune or bad fortune. Everything is happening, and we just know that whatever it is, there'll be something else the next day.
Yes.
I once read that there was a piece of advice that you can use in any situation,
Yeah.
and that piece of advice is, "This too shall pass."
Pass away. Yes. That's a very beautiful thing. Maharaj, you want to tell the story of the king?
Which king?
Oh, the same king. This king, he happened to meet a saintly person. And this saintly person, he gives him a ring. And he tells that, please wear this ring. And whenever you are in a very troublesome situation, or whenever you are in a very happy situation, you should open the ring and there will be a message. You should read that message. And that message will save you in that situation. So the king, over a period of time, he was wearing the ring, but he forgot about the ring. And then once he was in a war, and he almost lost the war. And he was like, just with very few of his soldiers, he happened to, just save himself and was going through the forest. And while resting, he saw the ring in his hand. And then he remembered the sage advice that, please read this thing. Whenever you are in any situation, please read this thing. So he opened the ring and he saw the message. And the message was, "This too shall pass away." seeing these 3 words, this too shall pass away, 4 words, he was so much into, got such an enthusiasm that he went back to his kingdom and made a big army and then attacked the enemy who was attacking him and defeated that. And just those 4 words made him understand that the situation of life will never be same. It will keep changing. So this is like a very powerful advice what Maharaj is giving. This too shall pass away. Yes, thank you, Maharaj. I remember the story in that way.
I didn't hear it that it was related to the king, but
Yeah.
I heard the story. At least the text. So we have to understand that good or bad is temporary in
Yes.
this world. That
Yes.
we may be happy today, and then something will happen tomorrow that will make it a little bit dark.
Yes.
And similarly, tomorrow we may have something that is dark, but the day after it will be once again resolved. So we never have any steady situation in the material world. So after a while, there's no point in keeping track. Is it good or bad? Just do service.
Yes. Just keep continuing your Krishna conscious duties. That's the last thing which we were discussing.
Now, why we are thinking about good fortune and bad fortune?
Why we
Because,
are,
yes, because we know that we have to leave everything here.
Yes.
So why you are not thinking end? Why are you thinking good fortune and bad fortune?
No, sometimes people are thinking about this thing a lot.
Yeah, this is temporary.
Yeah, this
Everything
is temporary. So people don't understand that this is very, very temporary. Even a good fortune or the bad fortune, it's very, very temporary.
Yeah.
And this will not remain always.
So why we have to think about this?
But what will remain is our bhakti. Our practice of bhakti will remain always. So if a person is able to practice his bhakti, if a person is able to make his consciousness more and more purified, then the external things will never affect a person. So if you see outside in the world, people are getting affected like anything. And the point is, when a person is going through a reversal in his life, how does he respond? And how does a devotee respond is totally different. Sometimes the people outside, when they see that the situation is very bad, a student, he took a loan for 60 lakh rupees and he thought he will, study very hard, complete his engineering and, get a nice job. When he finished his studies, what happened? He just got a very average score. So he did not get into a nice company. He was trying very hard to get in a nice company. He hardly got a job. And over a period of time, when he struggled for some time, he got a job which was not at all paying any loan and which was not at all giving any income to him to pay the loan back. So this student became so frustrated in his life, what he should do. He went to his family and he saw that his father has, just spending money like anything. He is a drunkard and he's just spending money. And his mother and sister both are there in the house and he did not know the right situation, what he should do. So he did not respond to the situation. What he did, he was feeling so frustrated that there was no money in the home and how he will lead a life. And then immediately he felt there was nothing else what I can do. So he went to the top of the terrace of the building and he jumped from there because he did not know how to respond to this situation. So people outside, they don't know how to respond. Sometimes they become addicted to bad habits like smoking, drinking, taking shelter of a woman, hunting for a woman, just because they don't know how to convert the misfortunate situation into fortunate situation. So a devotee always thinks how a devotee will respond in that situation. That's why its association of devotees is always that protects protect a person from not committing these wrong things. Or else people outside, they actually feel so much terrible in their hearts when something happens like that. A person who dies in the family, they feel like there is such a vacancy in their heart that they are not able to come out of that situation. But a devotee understands the science of spiritual life. They always think that this is because this is the science that the body will definitely die, but the soul is eternal. So let me do something for the soul. They are so much attached to the body most of the time. So that's why a devotee should always know how he should be responding to these misfortunate situations. That's why we are discussing this aspect, that how one can become fixed in Krishna consciousness. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
you talked about what to do in unfortunate situations. Specific case of ISKCON devotees in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I mean, what should they do? They're doing their devotional service, but still they're being killed and tortured. What should they do now?
See, this is the test what Krishna is sending. This is the test what Krishna is sending. Do you think the situation was this always calm, always like this? What do you think when the situation was there when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present? When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present, Nawab Hussain Shah was torturing the devotees. Is it not?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Nawab Hussain Shah was not allowing the Harinam to go on also. If in the public, if people were doing Harinam, they were getting captured, they were put in the prison, they were killed, they were trying to kill. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry, and he went, he took this, he took the march towards Kazi, and then he wanted to, protest against him. So we may not do like that. We have to definitely, this is a situation where, we are put in this situation, and Krishna will definitely change the situation. It's very, very temporary, but this is like a test for all devotees, whether still you will be fixed in practicing Krishna consciousness, in spite of such troublesome situations. Yes, we may. In Russia, when they were trying to preach, what all troubles devotees, initial devotees had gone through. They were in the prison, they were giving electric shocks, like they were being given medicines where the devotees were becoming mad. But still they never left Krishna consciousness. They were always trying to remember Krishna. So this is not a new thing. This has always happened. And this will happen in the future also. It's not like it will not happen. It will happen in the future also. But a devotee's consciousness is that I will try to please Krishna in this situation also. I will try to serve Krishna in this situation also. So there were always times, troublesome times. And this will happen every time. The war which is taking place, from 2 years now between Russia and Ukraine, 4 years now. And devotees in Ukraine also getting disturbed, right? How are they practicing? Still in that troublesome situation they are practicing. So situation will never be calm in this material world. That is the science we have to learn from this situation. That is the lesson we have to learn. But we have to be fixed in our practice of Krishna consciousness. We should not leave the service to Krishna. We should not leave the process of purifying, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And we should not make a situation more agitating that, we are making people around us, feeling agitated. If we want to, if it is a time that, we have supposed to practice, where, we are not trying to show that we are practicing also, we practice it in such a way. But, we are always fixed that we want to please Krishna in that situation. Hare Krishna.
If you want to get something, you will lose something. Without losing, you cannot get.
Yes.
I think so. That
Okay.
is the situation of
I think we are
Bangladesh.
getting late for the Aarti now. I don't know.
So we will
Yes.
go to Arti now.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Shri Gopal Pran.